This is Gospel Music Today. We are at the National Quartet Convention, and sitting next to me is someone who really needs a mini-series and not just an interview, but this is Charlie Waller, and we're thrilled to have him on Gospel Music Today. Welcome.
Good to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Now, you're currently with the new version of the Florida Boys. You're involved in the Grand Ole Gospel Reunion. We want to talk about some of those things. But first, let me ask you about the SGMA. Tell me what that's all about.
Well, I'm executive director of the Southern Gospel Music Association, and we're located inside Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We have the only Gospel Music Hall of Fame and museum with bricks and mortar, where people can come and look at the memorabilia from the early days and how we got to where we are today. And it's quite interesting to see the legends that are housed there. And there are artifacts, and we've got the Blackwood Brothers bus and a lot of the entertainers' clothes, and it's fun to see the technology, how it changed from old 78 records that will break in a snap to what it is today. But we have all that on display there in the museum, and it's a great place to come visit. And we're a nonprofit organization, and we have to depend on the fans and friends and the groups of Southern Gospel Music to keep us going. And if they haven't visited the museum and like to know more about it or become a member, they can go to our website, which is www.sgma.org. And all the information is there, and they can contact our office or through email, and if they'd like to know more about it, and we hope they would.
And this is open to anybody. They don't need to be a Southern Gospel professional.
No, we have anybody. We've got fans, we've got artists, we've got record companies, radio stations, and broadcast media. Everybody can be a member of the Southern Gospel Music Association, and the membership is only $20 a year, and we're having a big drive this year at the National Quartet Convention. The groups are really on top of it, and Karen Peck is the new president, and she's going to be doing a tremendous job, I'm sure, and I'll be looking forward to working with her. She's the first female president we've had, and so looking forward to working with Karen. She's a sweet gal and a great friend, and doing great in gospel music herself.
And there's a Southern Gospel Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony every fall, and we want to congratulate you on being a new member.
Thank you. Yes, we're doing our annual induction ceremony and tribute concert on October the 7th in Dollywood. The park will be open that day, and all the rides will be going, so it'll be a great time to bring the family and come be with us for the induction ceremony.
Now bring me up to date on the Florida Boys.
Well, when Les, Glenn, and Daryl retired in 2007, I had talked with Les. I've been knowing Les. They're the first quartet that I ever seen. I was 16 years old, and I went to their concert, and I just fell in love with the Florida Boys, and Les has been a dear friend for 40 years. And I booked the Florida Boys in a lot of my promotions over the years. And I talked to him about why don't you get 4 or 5 young guys and you just let them do all the work and you just go with them. He said, I don't know. I'm been doing this long enough, and so why don't you take it? I said, well, I just might. Of course, we were joking at that time. So I got to consider it, and I talked to a couple of people, and I called Les back and told him. And I hated to see the name die, because we've lost so many of our icon names in the industry. The Statesman's retired, the Cathedral's retired, and all these groups is gone, and so I hated to lose the Florida Boys, and I had no intentions of singing. I sang back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s for a while with a regional group, the Jones family, down in South Georgia. But um, I decided I'd give it a try, and I thought, well, it's not real hard to sing as good as Les, and anyway, we joked about it, and we wound up. I got Buddy Burton on baritone, Chip Cooper singing bass, and Eddie Broom singing tenor, and I do the lead, and we're proud of what we've got, and we're just having fun and promoting the SGMA. Every concert we do, we get to promote the Southern Gospel Music Association, and that's one of my main deal is to doing that and to keeping that Florida boy name and tradition alive. I'm a traditionalist at heart. We still do the 2 old microphones, and I just think that's just the way you get the best blend.
Yeah.
But we're having fun.
Now, I guess it's that same respect for the tradition and the heritage that's driven that Grand Ole Gospel reunion all these years.
Yeah, my program director at the radio station where I worked in New Orleans, he had dreamed that when they built the Superdome, he come in one day and he said, I dreamed that you brought all the old quartets to the Superdome. This was in 1972. And so it started my mind clicking. And I produced the Palmetto State's anniversary singing in 1987, and I had the Bob Who had the first syndicated television show, Bob Who's Gospel Favorites, and they were on like 120 stations. So I had produced that show, and I brought back Bob Who and the Old Kingsmen, the Carolina Ladies, and the Travelers, and the Palmetto State, and we had the Masters 5 there, and just kind of had his television show set that night, and it was we had 5,000 in attendance, and it was really good. So I thought about that program director's dream, and I said, this might work. And so I talked with Jack Pittman, and we decided he'd put up the money, I'd do the work, and so we got all these old timers back together in 1988, and that was the first. And then Bill Gaither was down, and 89 and 90. And I said, Bill, I said, you should take these old guys and make a video. Now, I wouldn't have been that kind to him if I'd known it was going to turn out like it did. But I'm just kidding. But he's the guy that could do it, and he did. And he debuted his first homecoming video at the Grand Ole Gospel, and we sold those videotapes in plain white wrappers, and nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And but he just did real well, and brought back a lot of memories for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I thank him for that. And but the Grand Ole Gospel kept going. We've been going 22 years. This year we had our 22nd season, and I'm pushing for 25. I don't know if I'll go further, but we're going to try to do 25 and have a real special one in 2010. But it's been good.
Yeah. That's great. It's certainly worth doing. It's a great thing. Give me that SGMA website once more.
SGMA website, all right? You just go to www.sgma.org. All the membership information is there. If you'd like to get a brick in the Walk of Fame and put one in somebody's honor, you can do that. There's a lot of things you can do. You can order product from our website. A lot of things you can do through the website. And then if you need any further information, just give us a call at the office, and the number's on the screen there.
Charlie, thank you very much for talking to us on Gospel Music Today.
Thank you, Ken, for having me.
There's more coming up on Gospel Music Today.